Good afternoon, all. Today's my topic is prevention of bed sores, which is usually we encounter in ICU patients, our prolonged illness patients, neurological patients. So this is basic guidelines for medical officers as well as staff for management of bed sore before it occurs. So what is bed sore? Basically, it is a new name which we give for pressure sore, which is frequently referred as bed sore. And the main cause for bed sore is pressure. It is thought to result from the pressure applied to a soft tissue at a level higher than that is found in the blood vessels that is supplying the area for an extended period of time. It is basic. What I can say is that, and it is not specified how much pressure, how much time, but it is a general guideline that if the area is having more pressure than the supplied pressure, it will have a bad sore. Usually 2 hours is the limit which can be sustained by our skin. Other causes apart from pressure is friction, shear forces, moisture, malnutrition, and neurological injury. These all causes are usually seen in our ICU setup patients because when the patient is moving, there will be friction and shear forces. Because of incontinence, there will be moisture. Malnutrition is associated with it because the patients cannot have good nutrition because of neurological illness and other neurological illness are contributing factors. This is a figure depicting how the pressure sore occurs. Because of pressure, there is low vascularity and the tissue is prone for damage. Now, with the shear forces and friction forces that already damaged skin, which is not having sustainable power to reepithelize and regenerate, goes to develop pressure sore. In our ICU setup, patients usually having this position associated with more pressure source, like because of shear and friction there will be more pressure source. Now, before we treat or before we diagnose, we need to have a classification system for any condition. So there is a classification given by Indian Society for bed sores. It is having 4 classes, grade 1 to 4. Grade 1 contains there is intact skin, which is having non-blanchable redness in a localized area. Usually, it is situated on the bony prominences like trochanter, sacrum. Darkly pigmented skin maybe there it may not be having blanching, and it has different color from the surrounding area. This is grade 1 bed sore. If it is detected early, can be prevented to develop in grade 2, grade 3, which will require surgical intervention. This is grade 2 bed sore. There is a partial thickness loss of the dermis. Basically, there is an ulcer with shallow open ulcer and red pink surrounding bed. There is no or minimal slough. It may also present as fluid-filled blisters or bullas, and it should not be described as skin tears or because of the pressure tapes or perineal dermatitis. This is usually early signs of pressure sore. If it is detected at this time, patient can be prevented from surgery. After grade 2, grade 3, and grade 4 usually requires any kind of surgical intervention for healing. Grade 3 is full thickness tissue loss with subcutaneous fat, which is visible over bone or tendon, but these bone tendons or muscles are not exposed. There will be slough, but it will not be obscuring the depth of the tissue loss. There may be undermining of skin and tunneling. This is grade 4 bed sore. Usually there is muscle exposed, bone exposed, tendon is exposed, or there will be osteomyelitis of the bone, slough, which is having very purulent discharge. So this kind of where pressure sores will require surgical interventions for healing. So how will you prevent? Apart from these 6, 7 things, main thing what we need to do in any kind of pressure sore prevent is there will be 2 hourly position change. In every setup, ICU, then ward or any setup, we need to change position of a patient every 2 hourly. That is maximum time which is permissible to prevent bed sore. Apart from frequent change positioning, there are general skincare principles which is useful for our nursing staff. Is you should check the patient's skin on daily basis. The cleaning of the skin should be by pH balance solution. What is normal balance pH of a body is 7.35 to 7.45, and pH balance solutions are available. We should not use soap or hot water because they are causing dryness of the skin, which will make it prone for bed sore. You should avoid friction and scrubbing of the area. The moisture should be minimized because if the patient is having urinary incontinence or fecal soiling, it should be checked and cleaned. And in case if it is needed, catheterization should be done to prevent urine leakage. Use barrier products to protect the vulnerable skin. If we see that there is a grade 1 bed sore which is developing, we should isolate the area with barrier dressing products, and the dryness of the skin should be avoided by emollients to maintain the skin hydration. So how will we avoid pressure? It is technically not possible in ICU setup to change position every 2 hourly, because patients are having multiple lines. They are having intubation, ventilator is on, maybe dialysis lines are on. So what we do is we need to have constant low pressure bed, or the pressure alternate pressure changing bed. These two devices will help us to change the position, which is the main concept. So low pressure bed will allow the pressure to distribute it equally and avoid pressure in the particular area. And alternate pressure change usually is having alternate time to relax the skin area. And last, I would like to answer us very frequently asked question is, what dressings to be used in any kind of bed sore. So this is general rough guideline, although it will require assessment by a consultant, but this is rough guideline according to the color of the wound. If there is a black colored scar, you will require hydrogel or transparent dressing, so you can check the dressing, the condition of the wound on the daily basis. If there is yellow slough on the area in grade 2, grade 3, grade 4 bed sore, we should check the exudate quantity. If it is very small, the hydrocolloid dressing will suffice. If it is moderate, it will require hydrogel and absorbent foam dressings. Or there is a large quantity of exudate which is coming, it will require alginate or absorbent foam dressing. If there is a red granulation tissue which is around, you should use hydrocolloid dressing. So we have three new names as hydrogel, hydrocolloid, alginate, and absorbent foam dressing. I've just finished. Hydrogel is hydroheal, megaheal, this kind of gel containing dressing, which will provide moisture for healing. Then hydrocolloid dressing is gel containing dressing with adhesives, so that it will seal off the area from the surrounding, so there will not be a soiling or leak, the leak which increase the pressure. So then absorbent foam, when there is a moderate amount of exudate, this absorbent foam will absorb the dressing, keep the area dry, and provide enough moisture for healing. And when there is a large exudate, then alginate dressing, which is having very high absorbent quality, so it will allow the area to remain dry and allow healing. So thank you.